Yo. How you doing? What's going on?
We out here.
We out here in these streets right here. Y'all niggas know it's about to go down. Millennials versus everybody.com.
That's like a trailer for like a bad like a hood horror. Like what do you call that?
I'll be a mockumentary.
Right. About ourselves.
Y'all heard of CB4?
Take a look at these two dope Haitian niggas from Jersey.
Early.
I need streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my New Jersey trying to have a New York accent. Early bird storm.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not really feeling that early shit. I'm more about that late. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to.
That's that Caribbean time. Late.
Yeah, when I say I'm gonna be here at 12
ish.
I'll be here at 2ish.
I'll be on time ish.
Yeah.
But enough of that. Let's talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm Dave Williams, and I'm joined by the hostess with a pretty good amount. Good amount.
Look, my name is. Matter of fact, you'll figure out my name when I tell you what my name is, but if I feel like sharing it. But honestly, thanks everybody.
Don't give them the government name.
You know,
don't give the government name.
I can't
it's
give
a secret.
Yeah, because Equifax probably gave you my shit anyway. So
Yeah.
Y'all niggas have fun with whatever code number you get.
Assuming you have enough to steal. Yeah, that's the problem. You can't. What's the like Chris Rock joke? Like, oh, like someone like robbed my house, but they left some shit behind.
I feel like we have to like pull that drop down so people could remember that shit.
For real, like steal my identity and leave like $100 in my checking, please. Like,
yeah, that's some really serious shit, man. You trust these like brands or whatever that they would hold your information without blowing it all up. But hey, man, it just proves to you that nothing's perfect in this world.
Either way, there's more than likely going to be a little dash next to my checking number. There's going to be a little subtraction sign there. Anyway, so speaking of which,
yeah,
our first episode, we're here to talk about the American dream, millennials.
Yeah, man.
The American dream. We're taking it to court. We're taking the American dream to court, taking it to task.
Yes.
Because we have been lied to, we've been hoodwinked, we've been bamboozled, we've been led astray. I'm out of synonyms, and I can't think of the Malcolm X quote all the way. But we're here to talk about the American dream. Dictionary.com, I tried the Merriam-Webster definition, and it's like egalitarianism, and we're not that type of show, we're not that highbrow. So I went to the dictionary.com definition, which, it's pretty good too. So the first one is noun. The ideals of freedom, equality, and opportunity. Opportunity.
Speak.
Traditionally held to be available to every, I'm going to say it again, every American.
Every single blood clot American out here.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
All the Jamaican Americans.
Shout out to all my Jamaican niggas, you know what I'm saying? I see you out here cooking
it's not appropriation. We're Caribbean too.
True that.
Yeah, right?
True
so
that. You're right.
the second one is a life of personal happiness and material comfort, okay, as traditionally sought by individuals in the US. Dictionary.com is trying to play us. They're trying to say that Americans are materialistic.
That's
kind of fucked up. Like,
that is true,
sought
man.
by, individuals in the U.S. You know how they are, materialistic.
That's all we do, boy.
Yeah, but I think it brings up interesting like images of the white picket fence and like the milkman and the dog and well, the milkman's a separate kind of a conversation, I guess. When we talk about relationships.
Or the plumber.
Yeah, right.
Shout out to Joe the plumber. I see you, baby. Keep doing your thing, baby. Out here in these streets.
Yeah. Keep convincing poor whites to vote against their interests.
Shout out to the Republican Party. I see you, baby. You doing your thing. Keeping the American dream.
Racism over personal wealth. It's a good strategy. So
I see you, boy.
How's that work? How's that working out? So
hello, backwoods hillbilly.
But honestly, you're right, man. The American dream, man. That's something that we all try to tackle, and I'm glad that we had a great opportunity to talk to a good friend of ours at 9,000. He really, chimed in and gave us a different
He has some nice insights from a young, successful writer who's worked with a ton of people. He'll tell you himself, but I mean, Rihanna, Drake, Jay-Z, Beyonce, just a shit ton of artists
Writing and doing
and just doing whatever he needs to do to support his family, and that in essence is a part of the American dream. It's not supposed to be easy, but the idea is that given the opportunity, you can, and the wherewithal, you can work your way up whatever ladder you deem worthy. You can find whatever path you need to your goals, and we millennials are tired of being are tired of being treaded upon, you know, like these Tea Party. Don't tread on us either. We don't like it.
Exactly.
And the idea is that
you're too close, man.
The idea is that because we grew up with economic crisis. You know, we grew up with these issues. The Great Recession, right? So we grew up with these ideas, and it shaped a lot of the way we look at the world financially.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we could always tackle down to like, you know, how we could define the American dream. But one thing that tomorrow is 9/11, so you know, how many 15 plus years, right? Since
I'm gonna say 16.
16.
I'm gonna use some.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
16.
use some basic math.
Yeah, 16 years. Yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna do some simple addition, and I'm gonna get from 1 to 17 pretty easily.
It's the Millennials Podcast. We live, baby.
You know, education.
Our next episode is gonna be
Millennials versus mathematics. We didn't plan that. We don't need to.
Not at all, nigga.
Oh, we're live. Oh, man. So he died. I don't know. I'm going to ballpark it. I'm going to say about 12, 13.
I'm 13, 14 years, nigga. Yo, man. But honestly, bro.
My Noam Chomsky over here. I got my calculator
I'm
on.
a mathematician.
Yeah, right.
Believe me, baby.
Yeah,
no, but
right.
numbers don't lie. But honestly, you think about how everything's changed since then. Not only just on like a safety precaution type of thing, where I could recall, you know, whenever certain days would appear, we would have to worry if today was an orange day or today was a red day.
Right.
You know, it's safe to go outside.
Fuchsia, blood orange. You know. It's very detailed. You know, sometimes I try to color coordinate my outfits
to match the terror alert.
right. It's my way of showing my patriotism, you know? And so, but we're not just talking out of our ass. We're not just
giving facts.
Right. Well,
do our Googles.
Well, now we're giving facts, right? So I did a little bit of homework. The Pew Research Center happens to agree with us too, so we're not just shit talking. For the first time in modern era, okay, I'm reading that verbatim. Okay, living with parents edges out other living arrangements for 18 to 34-year-olds. And so they found that in recent years, people are now falling back on what they're calling the boomerang effect, where people are going away to college to chase that American dream, getting bogged down with crippling student loans. And when we come back home, a lot of us are living back home, saving back up, trying to get back on our feet. I can say for us in Jersey, last time I looked it up, 48% of college graduates, about half, were back living at home. And so they found here for the first time in more than 130 years, adults aged 18 to 34 were slightly more likely to be living in their parents' home than they were to be living with a spouse or partner in their own household. They talk about relationship status as well. We're the Tinder culture, we're the DM culture, and so
shout out to all the sister wives out there. I see you, girl.
Using that teamwork, making it happen.
Let's go, baby.
It takes a village
to raise a family, baby.
It takes a village to raise that erection. No. That's not in the Pew research. They found that this turn of events is fueled primarily by the dramatic drop in the share of young Americans who are choosing to settle down, and that was part of the thing. But I don't want to get too deep into that. I think we should save that for a future podcast. We could really go into this relationship dynamic.
Yeah, man.
And really go into that and crack a lot of jokes. But they found that by 2014, 31.6% of young adults were living with a spouse or partner in their own households, below the share living in the home of their parents, which is 32%. And so I don't know, like anecdotally, I'm sure we all have people, friends, maybe it's you, who's living at home and trying to make things work. And yeah, it's nice to know that we're not alone, that it's also a part of a trend.
Yeah, and that you have to really, in this day and age, it's not like it's not the same like it was for baby boomers. We definitely, a lot of us are graduating with or not graduating with college loans that are like under $10,000 or $5,000.
Yeah, don't even get us started on that. And the financial wages. The idea
that's not
of
going up.
I mean, they try to tear poor Bernie's head off his shoulders by saying that we should raise the minimum wage to 15, when if we account for inflation from the 1970s, our wages should actually be 20. Our minimum wage should be 20 right now. But instead, we're stuck with whatever scraps are left over from the 1%. Right. In addition, Pew goes on to say, trends in both employment status and wages have likely contributed to the growing share of young adults who are living in the home of their parents. And this is especially true of young men. Employed young men are much less likely to live at home than young men without a job. And employment among young men has fallen significantly in recent decades. The share of young men with jobs peaked around 1960 at 84%. In 2014, only 71% of 18 to 34-year-old men were employed. Similarly, with earnings, young men's wages, after adjusting for inflation, have been on a downward trajectory since 1970. I just got done saying that, Pew. That's what I'm saying. And fell significantly from 2000 to 2010. As wages have fallen, the share of young men living in the home of their parents has risen.
So what is this, you might be asking? So why are we expressing all these facts, and what is the main point for this episode? Well, let me answer it for you. So we live in a new economy, means that we have to have a new way of thinking, and we have to be inspired by we have to listen to those who inspire us. So 9,000 is going to give you pretty much his background, and he's going to let you know his sight on how he turned his American nightmare into an American dream. So that's what we need to do.
Ooh, I like that. Did you plan that out? Or?
I didn't. I was, me, baby.
Okay.
Off the top.
I mean, don't be that proud. It wasn't that good, but it was good.
Hey,
I liked it.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. But honestly, that's this for many of us. This experience, this where we are right now. If you're in our millennial bracket, or if you're not, if you're younger, Shia, if you're younger, take notes. Yes. Be mindful. See what's going on out there, and then when you walk down that aisle, when you're graduating, it's ramp. Depending if you're gonna go to Rutgers.
Yeah, what is that expression? I don't know. You walk down walk the plank. You walk the plank of student loans. Speaking of planks, the Great Recession and modest recovery has also been associated with an increase in young adults living at home. Initially, in the wake of the recession, college enrollments expanded, boosting the ranks of young adults living at home. And given the weak job opportunities facing young adults, living at home is a part of the private safety net, helping young adults to weather the economic storm. The problem is, like Irma, the storm never died down.
I'm sorry.
To be fair, like I don't know if Irma jokes are too like far yet because it hasn't really hit yet.
Yeah.
So like
Forgive us if
this is Sunday, so we don't like we don't know.
4:18 p.m.
Yeah.
So
as of now, I think one person may actually have died.
And they were
Sorry.
in the
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm hearing 3. Okay, so let's have
a moment of silence.
for those 3. Sorry for your loss. Yeah. So, but as of now, it's not like a big like national tragedy. So like I may make another. As of now,
you may
speaking at this moment in time,
right? You know,
I think it's so cool. Okay.
And then the next podcast is going to be Millennials versus Hurricanes.
Oh, fuck. That was worse. That was much worse.
No, nah, man. I'm talking about Miami Hurricane football team.
Right.
Yeah.
Miami, man.
Don't.
God damn it, man.
My fault. Yo, man.
You keep making
Don't listen to me, man.
Well, don't tell them that.
I mean, listen to me, but be mindful that I've had some of
Be
this.
mindful that he couldn't do basic math.
I couldn't do basic math.
Early.
I had some basic Haitian rum.
Yeah.
So, forgive me. I'm not cool right now, man.
Yeah, and so this also crosses ethnic lines as well, where among racial and ethnic groups, record high shares of Black and Hispanic young adults sticking together. I'm liking that Black Latino love.
Let's go, Pop.
We in this together. We in this together.
We out here, dog.
Lived in the home of their parents in 2014.
Should I tell my DR? I see
Yeah, right. Let's learn to get along. All right.
For real.
I'm scared to take a DR trip because my last name is Guillaume. I'm Haitian as hell.
Man.
I'm not trying to get like deported. Like, nah, you live here now. Like, but I speak English. I don't really speak Creole that well. All right.
What I'm saying?
So
Side note.
Yeah, for real. Sidebar. Let me go back. All right. So, meanwhile, 30% of young white adults lived at home. White young adults are more likely to be living with a spouse or partner. But the trends are also similar for all major racial ethnic groups, including whites. So there is a slight difference, but among all racial groups, we're kind of in this thing together. We're in this stressful thing together. We're all getting beat up by student loans pretty mercilessly.
Right.
And coming here to found a nice article on the student loan debt and how it's blowing up. Americans apparently this is a mind-boggling, tripling. Yeah.
Hold on.
All right, cue drum roll sound. Americans owe 1.4 trillion with the capital T. In student loan, 1,000 billions, 1,400 billions in student loan debt, spread out among 44 million borrowers.
We could probably knock that down in 30 years.
Yeah, right. My plan is to like chip away at it, and I never really plan to finish paying it off. I just hope like if I keep just like giving them the morsels, they just like leave me alone.
Shout out to all y'all that signed up for the income-based repayment plan. I see you out there, baby.
IBR.
Shout out to IBR, baby, for the approval. Thank you, baby. Much love. Much love. Look, now I'm like.
Now you sound like you're from across the pond,
from
bro.
Across the pond, man.
You from the States or are you from across the pond?
Yes, man.
In it. Shout out to the Zusamero. Yeah,
Yo,
right.
big
Bodega, yeah.
Jesus, man.
In
Shout
it.
out to you, man.
All right.
That nigga's funny.
All right, I mean, don't slobber all over him. You give him like
Yo, dog,
quick
I
compliment.
gotta give it up because they're millennials too, man.
I bet you do give it up.
Fuck you, dog.
I bet you would. I'm saying hypothetically, like
Not at all, man.
you know, they make like a joke about their Timbs. You laugh, open you up a little bit.
You know, but
a bottle of bubbly.
I love you, everybody. If you know who I am, B, I like my Timbs. You know what I'm saying? I rock Timbs on Fridays at work. I don't play no games, dog.
Yeah, right. White Tim Fridays. You
White Tim Fridays.
Then you bring a toothbrush with you and the Clorox bleach.
You know, I've got the butters. You know how I do.
And you gotta get them like money making Mitch. You gotta get the bleach.
You know what I'm saying? Get real nice. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying?
Money making Sunny. All right, so
I'm gonna be on some real murder shit. I'm gonna be on some real murder.
Anyone who looked at me wrong
is gonna get it. Yo, big much love to Damon Dash, man. Bro.
I'm hurting. I hear my little man be. All right, so the thing, I got like one sentence. Okay, so that's about back to the trillions and the billions.
Yes, sir.
620 billion more than the total U.S. credit card debt. All the credit card debt.
Fuck.
All the stupid shit you've been buying online.
all the.
That's like, so we're talking about basically doubling almost doubling the credit card debt. In fact, the average class of 2016 graduates has an average of $37,172 in student loan debt, up 6% from last year. Unless you're like me,
right.
And you went to a private art school. Shout out Berklee College of Music.
Big shout out to Berk.
If I could trade in my student loan debt for like a mansion in the South and like maybe like a 2-bedroom in New York. Like I could.
That's about accurate.
Yeah. 37,000 is like one semester and like a meal plan. Like that's
Christ.
That's like funny. But okay. But
we out here though.
Yeah.
Keep them clean though.
Yeah, and so and you're paying for the arts, but that's fine.
That's right.
Yeah, and so basically what I'm saying is different people are in different situations, and so how one might ask, do you come from that? How do you how do you like Big Sean? How do you how do you take an L and bounce back like that, where you have like home debt, you have like foreclosure debt on your head, and you're trying to be entrepreneurial and take the right steps towards ownership and starting your own business and flourishing, right? And and conquering. And so it's it's a pretty rough thing, where the average monthly student loan payment for borrowers age 20 to 30 is $351. I don't have to tell you guys that.
Right.
If you're listening, you're probably waiting, on that like 13th, and you check your TD app,
for real,
and you see that little dash, and you're like, shit. and there goes your date money. There goes your movie money.
Oh, fuck that.
Your dinner and the movie money. You gotta go to the park and walk around, look at,
Or if you're maybe you got your LimeWire.
Yeah, man. Now you gotta pull a half-baked. Remember that scene where he's going around getting the ice cream and shit, and then like he sees the homeless person and just like takes some of their change and shit. You gotta budget your shit. You might need to rob someone homeless if you need to get that date completed. To keep everything going the way it needs to go.
Or you just stay at home, you watch Netflix, you cut a slice of carrot cake, and you go ham. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But,
eat that sorrow away, man.
But
because it's never going to betray you. Carrot cake is never going to fucking betray you,
Not
man.
at all, man. It's always going to be by your side.
It's never going to lie to you. Carrot cake isn't going to hurt you until you look in the mirror the next morning and you hate yourself.
And you say you got to make a change, but you can't. Because you got icing on your fucking face, bruh.
You take what's left of your change and you buy more carrot cake.
Yo, dog, it's some real shit, man. We're not just saying this just make jokes. We're talking out of experience here.
Yeah.
Clearly I'm a dude that, if you know me, if you know my government, you know that I enjoy carrot cake. But I had to really fall back and realize that I had a problem.
Yeah.
I'm a pops. I'm over here at Sesame Street with my daughter. I don't feel right. Carrot cake has
hard to feel. Hard to feel right when you got the muffin top
Come
coming
on,
out
bro.
the sides and all
This
that.
nigga's
type of
barely 32.
stuff. Yeah, man. It's gonna be a long and winding road. Shout out to Paul McCartney. Chip, 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 chip.
Yeah.
All right.
Yo, man, that's some grabby shit. But yo,
Yeah.
we don't want you to be depressed because that's not the purpose of the podcast, though.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power. And so I think an important but our powers combined, right? I think we need to understand where we are to understand where we're going from here.
True that.
And there is a systemic problem here, and part of fixing that systemic problem is understanding that it exists.
Yeah.
And so that way we can plan accordingly. So the numbers are bearing this out. It's college, it's all this financial information, and more fun news, but just again something so we know where we are, where we're going.
Yeah.
New York Times columnist Dave Brooks,
Shout out to Dave.
David Brooks, I should say, wrote about the wealth gap for Fortune.com, and articles publishing it here. The wealth gap in the U.S. is worse than in Russia. Yes, I said Russia. Collusion Russia. Trump's favorite getaway Russia. Stepdaddy Putin Russia.
Yes, sir.
Spends his weekends in Moscow, Russia.
You know, that's another topic. That we
Trying to get a hand transplant in St. Petersburg, Russia.
These small ass hands.
Yeah, right?
He can't even hold a toddler's hands. His hands are too small.
Yeah, right.
Man.
Pussy Riot Russia. Right? Throwing people off of balconies when they're going to testify against you, Russia.
Jesus Christ, come on.
And
But if you want to be a sponsor on this podcast, you're more than welcome to drop your coins here.
unless you're Russia, because we're not falling for that.
True.
Like Facebook, right?
That's
You heard
true.
about that, right?
Yeah.
Russia bought a bunch of ads in Facebook.
Damn,
and spread the actual
Come
fake
on,
news.
Suck. You supposed to be on our
I
side,
know, bro. Where you at? First the Hawaii thing.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know, man. I heard you're running for president, maybe.
You
but
slipping,
I don't
bruh.
know, man.
You slipping,
Better
bruh.
stay on top of that. And Iran, big
But I tried to
bad boogeyman. Iran apparently has a smaller wealth gap than in the land of the free.
And a home of the slaves. Which is the
Wow.
reality, bro, because we're all chained up, but we don't even see it. You know what I'm saying? When you have debt, bro, you can't do stuff.
Yeah.
You can't move. You can't even vocalize your political stance because, like Coach used to say, he who has the gold makes the
Wash
rules.
up.
Fuck you.
Get in the showers.
Turn around.
Yeah.
This ain't right.
That's only if you go to Penn State. That's
Shout out to all the nifty
Shout out to what's his name?
the Cougars.
No, what was the Penn State freak? Jerry
Sandusky.
Yeah, Sandusky. That.
That's why we shouting him out though. Or like shout.
Yeah,
Nigga.
right. Hope you're enjoying your sentence.
Yeah, man.
I hope Nasty Nate got you up against the walls in the showers,
Real,
and you're
man.
getting that bitter taste of karma.
I hope anything you drink has samples of things that belong to humans. All right, I'll leave it like this.
Okay.
Give him some of that, that puppy love.
Yeah, give him the old San Francisco treat.
Oh shit!
But
Oh damn. Man.
yeah, so
Left and right.
yeah,
and
right.
left.
So speaking of the wealth gap,
It's a huge transition.
yeah. Well, speaking of gaps and gape, yeah, housing and construction rules that keep the poor and less educated away from places with good schools and good job opportunities have a devastating effect on our economic growth nationwide. Brooks wrote, and it makes sense. The last article I cited found that wealthy kids were 8 times more likely to graduate from college. And so what we have here is wealth perpetuating more wealth and poverty perpetuating more poverty. Right. You didn't have any money, but you put all of your time and education into studying and getting good grades to get into a college, or playing guitar real good so you can go to music school, right? To create more opportunities.
Right.
And so now you're still poor, you're still disadvantaged, and so the work opportunities aren't really quite there, except now you're starting several leagues back from where you were before. And it creates this kind of system that kind of perpetuates this wealth gap, and it's only getting wider. Brooks wrote, and he didn't write that. Right, so derided, not from... Okay, so Brooke has a point. There's a widening gulf in the United States between the haves and the have-nots. The columnist points to education with metropolitan zoning restriction as a reinforcement for unequal systems, with statistics to prove that argument. And if that's not enough, we have gentrification of certain areas, and so we are just pushing the poor away. We're creating room for the wealthy. This country is becoming more and more a place for the wealthy, whereas before, I mean, for me, I'm an artsy, fartsy, formerly liberal, but probably more moderate now. So I watch a lot of classic films, and it's funny to watch how art imitates life. So you can watch the narrative of how we viewed each other in these films. So for example, in older films, cops were always these kind of blundering, silly kind of fools who no one took seriously, especially if you were wealthy. And now cops are everything. And if you're a nurse and you're doing your job and you're trying not to take blood from an unconscious woman, unconscious person, right? It's okay for the cop to come in and choke slam her and throw her up against the wall and give her a tombstone pile driver because she had it coming. How dare you not obey your overlord's commands, right?
Man,
and
Jesus Christ.
Right? And so it's just, apparently cops have become God in the last couple years. But, cops aside, right? Also in those like older films, point I'm getting to is it was about the poor. It was about poor, studious, creative people who had the tenacity and the perseverance to push through and to beat the odds. The underdog, Rocky, that was the narrative. It
Creed.
Was about.
Movie
Shout out to Michael B. Scott.
Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, my nigga. I see you, nigga.
Jordan. Whatever. Whatever. I said classic films, man.
Yeah.
You know what? Fantastic Four. So you know what? I don't have to say your name right because Fantastic Four was no bueno, man. You really should have been like it. It'd be cool to be a black, Human Torch, but not like this. Not like this.
I know the mixtape's fire, my nigga, but damn, bro.
I know you wanted that on your resume, and
Can't do that, baby.
You did some of the other movies with what's that guy's name? The superhero guy.
I see you at The Wire.
Yeah.
I see you doing your thing at The Wire. You know what I'm saying? We share the same birthday. You know
Oh,
what I'm
my
saying?
Lord. But yeah, and so now the narrative has become that it's cool to be born wealthy. It's cool to be a president who was born fabulously wealthy, took $20 million in loans from his father, and still failed and bankrupt 6 times. And then now your qualification can be your business skills. You have none.
But to be fair, though, there are some people that are born wealthy that have more pressure to keep the family's legacy moving. Like the Johnson & Johnson family.
Oh, my God.
Like, I know right now...
They should worry about getting the cancer out of their baby products. I think that should be their
that's
main
true.
concern,
But-
getting the cancer out.
True.
Definitely.
But I could not imagine being, the X generation member of that family and trying to maintain. So you want to maintain the legacy, so you take shortcuts. And obviously the shortcuts you might have took may have caused, affected many people who use your product. Or, so...
Except not May, like it did.
It did. Okay.
Yeah,
yes,
it's a fact.
it did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As of Sunday, 4:37 on September 10th.
Right. So choosing profits over human life.
So these decisions are made, and the fear of being that last generation to not even be talented enough to create different opportunities, to take a shortcut, which harms the public's life, right? Or people that use your product. So
Yeah.
versus trying to do right and ultimately what I'm trying to say is that it's really I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, who's going to be the thought leader and try to change the conversation within that society of class people. So
Yeah.
if you're fearful that you're gonna,
Where's Danny Rand? Is what we're saying to
Yeah,
to anyone
true.
to
Danny
anyone
Rand,
who
bro.
unfortunately had to sit through Iron Fist. Let's all hold our hands up and make a spirit bomb. Hopefully, season 2 will be watchable.
True.
Season 1 was rough, but
Yeah.
basically, if you're not watching,
Danny Rand, bro.
Danny Rand is the main character of Iron Fist, who was a Marvel character. Really cool premise, but they just fucking bombed it. It was really bad. But he was a businessman who was like a Kung Fu Buddhist monk and was away from that lifestyle, and so he came back and he tried to be like Jesus and sell pharmaceuticals for like nothing, and like it was terrible. But the premise of having perhaps a more principled business owner who's willing to, or CEO who's willing to kind of put people above the politics, which is funny because for me, I feel like being good is good PR.
Yeah,
It's how good does it sound to be able to come out and to be, the company that goes out of their way to donate to Harvey victims or to Irma victims,
future
yes.
Jose victims.
Right, and all the increasingly more intense hurricanes due to climate change, which is a fact and a reality. And
It could be just a liberal agenda, just trying to
That's
take it
right.
major for us.
Like Rush Limbaugh, who was, you hear about Rush Limbaugh? Rush Limbaugh was running around saying that it was hurricanes are a liberal lie and don't, it's fine. Rain isn't real. Weather isn't a thing. If you
Do your Googles.
Yeah, right. All you got to do is, have your apple pie and your Texas barbecue and shoot at the clouds. Right. You know what he did right before Irma hit Florida? He fucking left.
Yeah.
He got on his little private jet and he got the fuck out of Dodge.
He really rushed.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So, rushed his ass out of there because he's willing to talk that talk, but he knows that science
back it
exists,
up.
right? And so he wouldn't bet his own pill popping ass on that. So
He took a whole bunch of lines, man. It was like, all right, I'm out, dog.
right, so
Good.
let's have some fun with wealth
Allegedly.
gap, right? So this article then goes down to break down the wealth gap city by city, right? So, okay, so inequality in New York is like Swaziland, which, if I'm gonna be total honesty, full disclosure, I don't know where that is.
That's somewhere. It's in Africa, continent of Africa. I forgot where. I remember hearing Jadakiss talking about he visited Swaziland.
Okay.
And then he was doing the show, and there was like a king out there. It was on Viceland. Shout out to Viceland.
Full disclosure, I'm gonna have to Google that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna fact check.
Fact check.
Yeah, right. Okay. Miami is like Zimbabwe. Goddamn. All right. Los Angeles is equivalent to Sri Lanka. That's crazy. I actually, and it's funny because we take so much pride in our image and our glossy, shining city on a hill. And we're Sri Lanka. So I don't know what to like. And that's the other thing that I think that at least conservatives can get behind us on. With the idea of American exceptionalism, I believe in that too, and I want to believe in that.
Yeah.
But how can we say that we're an exceptional nation when our insurance is like 35th in the world, and our education is all over the place, and this guy can't do addition and
Look, dog, I'm still trying to. All right, man. All right. For the record, I could handle my mathematics. I was just, a little excited.
Yeah. So
Numbers don't lie.
yeah. So I actually look at the difference between the 95th percentile of income earners in big cities, and the lower 20%. In the New York metro area, the 95th percentile makes $282 Bravo.
Yay.
Good for you. And the 20th percentile makes 23K. Yikes. So these gaps between rich and poor in income and wealth are vast across the country and even worse in cities. That's rough. As someone who's trying to move out to New York, all I could think is 23,000. Damn, like I'm a little. I don't know.
Listen,
I'm not sure I can do that.
I'm
Like
telling you, New York City is. I mean, hey, shout out to all the real estate.
yeah, all the
workers
real
out-
estaters
Y'all here doing your thing, you know, selling wonderful
in Russia.
property.
This
But-
whole Russia.
But listen, I love Jersey, and it just makes sense to be more out here.
Shout out to Joe Buttons.
Yeah, I see you, boy.
That's all we got, right?
Yeah, that's
We got
pretty-
Joe Budden. We got
We got Naughty by Nature. We got Redman. We got
Oh,
Queen Latifah. We
okay,
got
I forgot about Newark. Yeah, that's like all Newark. Big city. Thank
Jersey
you.
City. Come on,
Yeah,
baby.
man.
Can't forget. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, we got Sam Scarfo. Shout out to Plainfield. I see you. You know, Gorilla Pimp. You know, yeah, man. We got Solo. You know what I'm saying? Who are we? Yo, we got. You can't forget the famous battlers. You know what I'm saying? My man, Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kane University. I see y'all.
Okay, that's true.
I'm dropping too much names, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's really funny though. That's
But
really great.
But all in all, dog, I mean, you know, with all these variables, what are we gonna do, right?
Right. Something that's more interesting is even though I just spent a bunch of time dumping on cities, you might be better off living in a city. Shouldn't having access to the same schools and being in close proximity to different socioeconomic classes make it easier to move out of your financial situation? The research of other economists, I almost said economists. Okay, economists.
American education system, baby.
Yeah, boy.
Shout out to Edison High.
USA. Do show that in terms of upward mobility, living in cities like New York or San Francisco or Boston tends to be better for upward mobility than living in sprawling, more suburban areas. That said, what makes it harder, and this is the core of the theme of the new urban crisis, is that middle-class neighborhoods are disappearing. That is very true. In the past, most Americans lived in middle-class neighborhoods, whether that was a city or in the suburbs. In the 1970s, about 70% of Americans lived in middle-class neighborhoods. Now less than 40% of us do. And guess where middle-class neighbors declined the most? In our largest, most densest, knowledge-based metropolitan areas. And this all ties in with what we're talking about. It's hard. It's hard to keep afloat.
Yeah.
Our dollar's getting weaker, and our wages aren't
Even increasing.
accounting for it. And we, as you know, the 95% of the economy, we still feel subservient to that top limo class. G6 class, and feel that we don't have a say so. We feel like we don't have the right to ask for more for higher wages because they'll just replace us with robots.
Because a closed mouth don't get fed, right? Is that
Yeah.
a famous line?
Yep, squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah, man.
You know.
So what do you?
Shout out to James Taylor.
But what do? You know, you have to really change your. You have to change the way you think and how you view yourself, and know that you are worth. You are
Right.
worth the extra $2.50 an hour or whatever. You know, shout out to all these. I know last week, Labor Day, there was a lot of McDonald's workers that went out there, you know, striking for $15.
Yeah,
Now,
there it is.
listen, I was on my Facebook. You know, I said some comments. Some people, you know, didn't like it.
What comments?
You know,
I want to hear these comments.
I pretty much, you know, say, hey, listen, rather than just like, you know, attack these workers for wanting $15 because they flip burgers.
How could they?
I mean, no, honestly,
How dare they?
Let's
They
take,
want to pay their rent, Wofford.
dog.
The nerve.
Hey man, don't be saying my government out loud, dog.
Oh,
Don't say
that's
my
right.
government.
You didn't really say a name in the beginning, did you?
I don't have to. I don't want to. But since it's out there now, no,
Yeah.
not at all. But no, honestly,
I didn't say your last name is.
True. It's not like we're brothers or anything like that.
Right.
So what's crazy is that
I want to see documentation.
Yo, what's crazy is, oh man, I'm not gonna. But what's crazy is that we question these folks and we point fingers and we're like, oh man, all you doing is flipping burgers. You shouldn't be allowed to ask. But we should really take notes, honestly.
Something that I really like. I forgot where I heard it. It's probably some cheesy meme on Instagram. But really, I mean, this may sound too cheesy, but life is precious, right? So you spend an hour,
like really
now,
precious.
as someone who worked at Burger King, right, and did that for a while,
because
right?
he's a fuckboy.
Right. I mean, like I was like 16, so like it was age appropriate. Anyway,
Still a fuckboy.
we're getting off topic. So
Tropic.
yeah, I'm Caribbean. You're getting off tropics.
You wanted to work at what's that? All right, stay on topic. We're focused.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Fucking
Bro,
attention.
like I was getting like $8 ish, probably a little less.
Oh, that's a lot.
Right. But I gave up an hour of my time. I gave up an hour of my life that I will never get back.
Not
for
spitting
$8.
on your food. Yeah, man.
For $8.
For real.
You know, I mean, that's what, 32 quarters?
Somewhat.
That's 32 quarters. Like you gave up an hour of your life for like a little satchel of quarters. Like, and you're not gonna get that back for some, you know, for a 5 and 3 singles. Like, you know what I mean?
Don't even give you a fucking paycheck.
Yeah, right. They hand you like every hour they bring you a little baggie of quarters. Here's your silver Judas, and you sold your soul out for 32 silver coins.
Damn, y'all.
Early,
right?
So it's like, you know, if you want $15, if you want 60 quarters,
yeah, man,
instead of 32, I have no problem with that.
And rather than point the finger and just crack and tell people they should just go and get an apprenticeship and do all that, yeah, that's great. If the economy wasn't the way it is, where people could make those decisions, even I find myself like, you know what I'm saying, trying to accept the fact that 4 hours of sleep is required to really make up or create my American dream. You know,
we have to work 1 and 2 and 3 jobs to kind of, you know, get that proper, you know, cash flow.
Exactly. You know, meet up, networking with folks, creating ideas, exchanging, and building a partnership around something that could be great. You know, you look at, you know, shout out to Cherry Martinez for what she's doing with fmhiphop.com, doing her thing. It's like, that's inspiring. You know what I'm saying? That's what we really should be doing as far as like, you know, let's be in the digital space. Let's be out there. Let's start being one-on-one with folks again and just bring great minds alike, because honestly, we're not our parents' generation of like, you know, working one job and spending 30 years and then going to Florida to
that's done.
Florida.
We're not gonna have that.
It's not gonna happen.
We don't have Social Security either. Like that's not
social
coming.
who?
Yeah, right. So it's just
about?
like we don't even have that fallback, right? So I mean, it's kind of a positive, and I appreciate it because it kind of forces us to kind of think with that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes, sir.
And it forces us to kind of, you know, come in on weekends and do podcasts, right?
Yeah.
When you'd rather be at home preparing for like the next week of work or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's really, you know, quite inspiring. And so this article kind of goes on to talk about a little bit more about their reasons as to why they believe the middle class is disappearing, and their insights have been interesting so far, right? Mm-hmm. Not only has income inequality and wealth inequality grown, the segregation of people not necessarily by race or by ethnicity, that's a separate question, but not necessarily, but by our socioeconomic class has grown. The wealthy have moved to much more concentrated areas of wealth, and those areas are surrounded by areas with much more concentrated disadvantage. The wealthy and the well-educated and the more affluent have walled themselves off in separate neighborhoods. The growth in economic segregation really occurs in the last decade. In our biggest cities, we see the biggest loss of the middle class. We see the biggest gaps, not only between wealth in general, but rich people and more educated knowledge workers live and where less advantaged people live. And that also makes sense in the sense that we have our schools, our education systems. a lot of that budget is based on your property value. Your property value is determined by the wealth of the people around you, the businesses, right? So, you know, I've lived in Beacon Hill, super affluent Boston area, and I've lived in Hillsborough, North Carolina. I've lived in very different, you know, environments.
Right.
And in Beacon Hill, we're shopping at Whole Foods all the time, and that's where we're getting our organic kale and that ethically sourced, cage-free, non-GMO. Am I missing any buzzwords? Organic, of course. We got all of those products where everyone's getting paid $15, $20 an hour. Yeah, they're getting paid $15 and $20 an hour because they can charge so much for their products, because all the wealth is concentrated in that area. They can do that there.
Right.
And so you have people getting paid better in areas where they already are more likely to have money.
Right.
And so living and working in North Carolina, we were like grocery shopping at like dollar stores, like Dollar General and Dollar Tree and shit like that. We were buying meat in a tube for like $1.50, like mystery meat, and you just mash that shit up and cook it with some rice.
Let's see if we live tonight, baby.
Yeah, right. Hope you don't get salmonella or some crazy shit. Yeah, right.
Text my brother real quick.
Yeah, right. I love you in case I don't make it from the mystery meatloaf. Right, and so we have systems, but this is how we can pivot towards creating a better system.
Shout out to MJ. You know, pivot.
I don't. I don't know. My stance on Michael Jordan is like you can sit back and profit off of young black teens buying your overpriced fucking shoes, and you can watch them get shot like dogs in the street and not do shit for years. And then when people gave him a hard time, he donated, I believe, $1 million to Black Lives Matter, but then turned around and also donated $1 million to a local like police department.
Right.
Okay. Like, and so my stance
Mixed
on that
is like
right. And
Republicans buy shoes too.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of calculating decision making that really kind of rubs me the wrong way. It's really half of the time the people who are buying your shoes are people who can't really afford it.
Right.
People don't have cars, but they have 7Js, and the new one's coming out in 4 days, and it's like $600 and shit, and they fucking, you know. And it's just like, shout out to the sneakerheads out there, right?
Much love for you.
Right. So it's not, my beef really isn't with you. My beef is with the man whose name is on the sneaker, you know? So it's like he can sit back and be a billionaire off of that and profit off of that and parlay that wealth and buy basketball teams and do all this shit. But when his people are in trouble,
well, let's hey, man.
He just does that Future dance shit into the background and shit. He's fucking into a bush and is just.
But to be fair, hold on. But to be fair,
don't be fair to him.
Hold on, you know, I'm not black. I'm OJ.
Okay.
So he might have not had the experience where he could connect with what we're doing. So therefore, he makes these decisions.
Man.
Listen,
Mike's pretty dark.
Hold on.
Mike's pretty dark.
No, listen.
I think he knows he's black.
No, listen now. You know, first of all, for the record, you know, I ride with like LeBron James all day.
I bet you do.
Fuck.
I bet if he gave you the chance, you would ride with him all night too.
Man. I need a chick. Try to get a ring.
I bet you do want a ring.
Fuck. No, but yo, much love to LeBron and the crew, his team, man. No,
you
but
are not selfish.
No,
you just give it freely,
brother. He's out there, you know, he's expanding his brand and he's touching places and he's definitely shows that he's involved in the community.
I'm glad he's touching places. Where's he touching?
But MJ, dog, he might not have that experience.
It's a good touch or bad touch.
It's not like, listen, we don't. There's certain. And I hate for us to get off topic. Maybe it's not off topic because this is the American dream.
Right.
All right. So we're looking at an athlete like LeBron. He probably grew up. He grew up in Ohio. No.
Cleveland.
Akron, Ohio, right?
Yeah.
It's not the richest area, whatever. It's hoods out there, every Midwest, whatever.
Yeah.
But what about MJ? Like, where did he grow up? He grew up somewhere in probably, somewhere in North Carolina, right?
I think he's from
so.
North Carolina. I'm not 100%, but I think, yeah.
But, his upbringing was definitely different, where it probably wasn't the same compared to LeBron. So LeBron may have, like, a much better understanding of what's going on, and understands, he could easily take a stance because he's actually close. Like, MJ really
So
is
you're
like...
saying racism wasn't really a thing in 95?
No, and I'm not saying... No, I'm saying...
It's the time before racism.
No.
1995.
I'm saying, I'm opening this idea to, like, all right, so you and I right now are synced based off, like, race and, our social status, whatever. But once you reach a higher social status, so now these guys are making money. They are exposed to different type of people.
Right.
But one being that, I believe, because I see it with my parents. Sometimes me and my pops don't see eye to eye. And let's be honest, MJ is more close to our parents' age.
Right.
So if we're not seeing eye to eye with our parents with some of our political beliefs and understanding, what's the difference between being a billionaire, and a famous athlete? Because LeBron is more like us, and MJ is more like our parents.
I feel like the difference is you are like one of like, I don't know, like 8 black billionaires in America. Like there's a responsibility there. It's like whether or not you want it. I think it's similar to the Caitlyn Jenner situation and how she's getting dragged all over the internet.
Dragged.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry.
Right. So
Shout out to Caitlyn.
Yeah, right. So, but the idea there is like, I'll give you a minute. Had a moment.
We should use that little sound that drop that goes beep. Stand by.
Yeah. Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We are currently experiencing technical problems. Please sit by.
So, with Caitlyn, she's a Republican, and right, and so. You're laughing now, but the idea is like whether or not you choose to be a civil rights leader and stand for trans rights, you have been put up on this pedestal, and you have this responsibility that comes with that pedestal to where you can't really come out and say certain shit because it's like, bruh, like you're like the only one of us who have any kind of, so for Mike, he's one of the, Oprah's one of the other billionaires. What was it, Barney? She went into Barney's and was like just shopping. Granted, she could buy that Barney's in the next 5 stores over, but people still walk up to her like, hey, excuse me, do you know how much that cost? And they had to stop her. I think Jay had a similar experience in the Barney's. It was either Barney's or Zara, probably both, right? Yeah. And so it's like, Mike, I'm sure, has had those situations to where even if you're wealthy, you still are black and people still see you based on your outward appearance. And so coming that far and overcoming that many obstacles, you have a responsibility. Right. Uncle Ben let us know, with great power comes great responsibility, Peter. Yeah. Now, Mike is out here, slinging webs and shit, and doing all types of crazy shit financially. He's a financial web slinger. And he's slinging these sneakers to these kids who really should be saving that money, right? Yeah. And putting it towards something that's really gonna, not to say there's nothing wrong with looking good. There's nothing wrong with having style and having sneakers that represent that style.
I keep them clean though.
But, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, you're profiting off of basically taking advantage of people. And all I ask is when the time comes that you stand on the right side of the picket, of the protesting, I was going to say picket fence, that doesn't make any sense. The, don't be on the fence and don't donate equally because the police union isn't the people that put you where you are. We put you where you are.
Exactly.
So.
The NBA puts you.
Yeah, so Millennials versus Michael Jordan.
Oh, that's the next episode.
Yeah, right. I don't know why I ranted so much, but something about him just kind of irks me.
Yeah, I know why. It's because, he is he's one of the guys that a lot of athletes till this day, whether you're like LeBron James or I don't know, someone who's like who's the next prospect, NBA's prospect. You always look to Michael Jordan thinking to yourself that you could be like him because of how he managed to take one action and turn it into a $1 billion business. The guy literally just tried to jump from the free throw line, and that was the logo. And had he chose to play baseball, he would have not been. He would be some guy. He'd probably be like a.
He'd be in the minors right now still. Like, he'd be working at it.
Probably giving up working at a warehouse gig, and said I almost had it, but
one of those.
It's just decisions. So I guess all we're saying is basically
I was living in the past Larry's. Oh man, the night before my audition, I broke my knee on a unicycle. I fell off a cliff, and it's like, all right, well, who told you to go unicycling at 1:00 in the morning, dummy? Like,
for real. And I have to bring up one of the most someone I truly have respect for, and he's a fellow Jersey dude. And, we're not trying to be biased here, but...
Jersey boys?
Nah. But definitely Jay Williams. Jay Williams is a guy, he went to St. Joseph High School, played ball, then went to Duke, then got drafted by Chicago Bulls. I think it was number 1 prospect. Yeah, he was a top pick. Got into that motorcycle accident. You know what I'm saying? Hurt his leg,
I know, but
he bounced back.
When your profession is literally your body and your physical well-being, why the fuck would you ride a motorcycle around?
You say that now, but dog, how many times at 2021 we've made decisions that weren't really right?
I mean, I sing, I don't smoke cigarettes. For that reason, I don't smoke cigarettes. Because like Adele is a fantastic singer. I personally like her first album the best. I'm getting, but she always
choked up, y'all.
Right, but she always used to smoke cigarettes. I remember back in high school, years and years ago, I saw an interview and she was talking about that, and we'd look at each other, me and my buddy, like, why is she smoking? Isn't that really bad for your voice? And I heard recently, a month or two ago, she's taking a break or some shit. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure I heard this. She's taking a break because of cigarette smoke in her throat, and it's doing damage to her throat. If your livelihood is your body's a fucking temple. Like Rihanna has her legs insured, I heard, for $10 million or some shit, because her legs are part of her image, and that's part of what people are fapping to at 2 a.m. So she wants to protect that. She wants to make sure that we can fap for years and years to come. I respect that.
Much respect to Rihanna.
Yeah, right?
No, but you're right. You have a good point, but again, some of us make mistakes, and some of us could choose to give up and let our let life happen, or just make it happen. So he managed to revamp. I know he's doing a lot of things with ESPN, and he does a lot of he has a book that came out too. Shout out to him. So
and he talks about mental health issues too. I think he talked about a dark chapter in his life where he thought about ending it, and I think that takes a lot of courage. And so shout out to him for that. A lot of shout outs. We should have like an annotated footnote at the bottom. You just it's like a list like credits. Have it rolled down like credits when we
If you've been shouted out, just know that we're gonna tag you on our IG account.
Yeah.
And
except for Michael Jordan. Fuck you.
Today and tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Get your LeBrons. Shout out to Kyrie Irving, baby. Jersey, I see you, baby.
Yeah, next generation.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get a Boston jersey just
Shout out to Kobe. I knew you didn't do it. I believed you the whole time, B. I believed you.
I was on your side.
I believed you and no one else did. When Sprite dropped you,
I was like, all right.
I believed you. And they hired that blackface coon dog to remember that shit? Hey, baby.
Yeah, man.
Boss Sprite, baby. I was like, what the fuck?
Dog.
Where'd Kobe go?
anything to pull in the urban community.
Yeah, right. I was like, what the fuck?
They figured they'd work with Penny Hardaway so that it would work with... Nah, dog.
Nah, bruh.
Fall back, dog.
Nah, man. We don't co-sign everyone.
Do your Googles, bro. Be a part of the culture.
For real. Shout out to Kendall Jenner, right? Being in touch. Is it Kendall? One with the Pepsi? That was Kendall, right?
Yeah,
Miss in Touch. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Miss in Touch with the people handing out Pepsis to slave masters and shit.
Jesus.
Let them have a break. You know, enjoy a nice cool Pepsi in the hot Mississippi sun.
Want some lemonade, boss?
Yeah, right. Oh my Lord. Oh my. Yeah, you're sitting there singing spirituals and drinking Pepsi and shit.
But you know what? But that's my point of like the disconnect between what like
Right. Right, the haves and the have-nots.
they don't.
Right.
If you those who have the gold makes the rules, and if they're the one that they're influenced, that have a strong hand on like media, whether it be commercials, whatever. You know, this is how they view you, and this is how they think you expect to be viewed as.
Right, and this is where the whole, like for me, like the whole, what's the word, like affirmative action kind of thing comes in. For me, it's not about just like wanting more stuff. It's not about just like this selfish need to kind of just have more people there. Like, I guess the point I'm trying to get to is I think affirmative action is important because it's important to have different viewpoints represented and represented fairly. And so you need to have people from within the community to accurately portray what's going on within that community. And so that's how I think you have these scarily out of touch commercials and out of touch TV shows. Shout out to Marlon and your embarrassing show. I think I made it about 8 minutes in, and I felt like I was like back in like the black codes. Like it felt like Jim Crow 2.0. You know, it was.
And I love the Marlon family, man, for what they've done early.
I know, but come on, man. Like, you know,
Dwayne's
like
family,
you've done so much work. It's okay to turn down a check or two. It's okay. Like
we'll
you have,
always have our support, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
you've done a lot. You don't have to take every idea that comes across your desk. You know, like for me, like there needs to like. I think like you're approaching your Denzel stage of your career where you're like a black statesman and you represent us and you make us proud. I really don't want to see someone in your stage that happy to I don't want to use the C word,
Right.
but
I don't want you to take a knee, you know.
right.
Like that.
Yeah. I need you to stay on your feet. We need you to stay on your feet here.
Don't live on your knees.
Yeah, there aren't too many black actors to begin with. You know, like it's bad enough they're all taking like thug number 1, thug number 2 roles.
Right.
And then you have someone like you who's been in like major films, and you're kind of like doing TV shows and doing like the ghetto voice and clapping and shit like that. Like,
But then again, are we putting too much on him? Maybe he feels
But that's the
comfortable.
problem, though. It's like I feel like other racial communities are more communities. Like they see it as a we're all in this together, which is why you have Telemundo and Univision, because the Spanish speaking community came together and said, this is our language, this is our culture. We want our own shit. We're not gonna wait around for other groups to validate us and validate our culture. We're gonna make our own motherfucking network, and we're gonna have sexy ass weather women, and we're gonna do whatever the hell we're doing over here. And that's our thing. That's us. And so I feel like in the black community, it's this kind of like every man for himself, crabs in a barrel, type of situation. And so I'm gonna get mine. Well, that's why I feel like our issue, our social standing isn't as high as it should be, because we're not sticking together. Like Colin Cap, right? So I'm starting to see the Colin Kaepernick shirts everywhere. Colin. I said Colin, didn't I?
You said Colin.
I said Colin like twice, right? As I go on a rant about sticking together.
Colin Cap.
Wow.
This episode is now rebranded Millennials versus Colin Cap.
Millennials versus sentences. So
Basic.
Yeah.
English.
Yeah, right.
Mathematics and
Basic brain functions.
for real. But nah, Colin clap.
See, it's not that easy, is it?
Colin clap. Clap back, baby. You gonna get a job, baby.
Yeah, right. And if you don't, be shutting this football shit down.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna boycott the NFL after tonight's game between the Cowboys and the Giants.
I say 2 years.
Big Blue.
We should do this. 2 years. If he still doesn't have a job, every black NFL player should fucking drop out of the league. Enjoy your NFL with a bunch of quarterbacks throwing the ball at each other. Enjoy that.
And some kickers.
That's gonna be real fun. Special teams and the quarterback.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that'll be real fucking exciting.
For the,
Oh, they're punting again.
NFL games are going to be like 9-6.
Yeah, it's gonna be like field goals. Yeah, they're gonna shut down the NFL. It's just gonna be like like how they have slam dunk competitions. It's gonna be like field goals. So it's gonna be like, oh shit, he's trying it from the 65.
Yo, pretty soon they're pretty much going to change the sport to rugby.
I mean, they might as well.
Is.
Yeah, just import a bunch of Aussies.
Yeah,
have them come in with their knives and just handle it that way. Because how do you disrespect the group of people that's 80% of the sport?
It just doesn't make sense.
Make that make sense for me.
But
explain that to me. Yeah, and so
the American dream, baby.
Yeah, right. But there is good news.
Yes, sir.
There is good news. I would like us to end off on a positive note because we're a positive world.
Like Charlie Sheen.
I'm sorry.
We're all about positivity. There are shout out to the Boondocks. Positivity.
Yeah.
So here are a couple of things millennials are winning. Right? There's a list of things that millennials are doing that other generations are not doing, and we need to celebrate ourselves, give ourselves a pat on the back, So here we go. Millennials win marriage. The Institute for Family Studies found that 20% of you lying, cheating dogs over 55, you lying dirties,
You're sick.
cheating dirties,
You're sick.
have admitted to having extramarital affairs, relationships, side chicks, side dudes, whatever it may be. There's some shit going on.
Side trans.
Yeah, right? All different types of side situations.
I'm sorry.
And as opposed to our younger millennial counterpart, 14% of respondents under 55 were cheating. So we're talking about a 6% difference. And the gap is probably a bit wider because, I mean, if you're sneaky enough to lie behind your wife or your husband's back for 15 years, I'm not sure you can be that honest with a pollster who just called you up out of the blue. So I don't, and your wife's probably in the other room and shit.
Watching Lifetime.
And she knows you're up to some shit because she got the other phone up to her ear and she's listening to your response.
Oh, yeah?
And you can hear her breathing in the background.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Say it.
Let her know. No, me never.
You're going to have to talk to my therapist.
Yeah, so that 20% number, probably a little bit higher, but we're doing that better than our older counterparts, better than the family values generation.
I would have to say that probably the only reason why they did so, because there's probably more money around, so they had more time to kill. See, when you're stressing and you don't get paid enough and then your rent is really high or mortgage is really high, you don't have time to worry about,
Okay, so you're saying it's like a money cheating thing.
Because Dad always used to say, no money, no honey. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure Dad ever said that.
Dad always says that. That's what he told me.
Okay, I don't
Maybe,
know. I don't think Dad said that.
Nah, I'm pretty
Remembering
sure.
that
Hey,
wrong.
get called Dad real quick.
Yeah. Call my lifeline. Yeah, and so that is a very interesting factor, and I think it does certainly play a role. But either way, we're not
fuckboys.
We're not doing it because you know what? Let's be honest, right?
Now.
Like, and people can agree on this. People can look down in their souls and find the truth.
You need a sister wife.
There are some ladies here who've gone on dates to like McDonald's and Burger King and still gave it up. So let's not act like, I'm not judging. I'm not saying you should ask for a little more than like a double stack.
Listen,
before you give them the double stack. But before he gives you the Whopper, you should at least get like more than a Whopper.
But this is
all
a
I'm saying.
conversation issue with relationships, and we will definitely have a millennial sister on the podcast. To
Oh
give
yes,
her-
that's gonna be fun. Yes.
So
Yes.
please be aware. We're not just going to be we're not going to be dicks. Just talk about relationships and not have.
Oh yeah, no, we're not gonna be dicks at all. All right. Another thing that millennials do better than previous generations, than any other generation fucking ever. I don't know, I'm getting too hyped. Millennials win at life. Woo! Ow!
Get it, baby. And we dance better too. Shout out to Chris Brown.
Shout out to that future dance that everyone's doing all of a sudden now. I don't know why I keep calling it the future. It's like that like robot shit people do now.
Not the Superman. We're not talking about Soldier Boy, right?
Yeah. So I don't even want to.
I'm pretty sure none of you guys could Wu-Tang better than me, dog.
I saw a nigga on the chandelier. Shot him. Bah, bah, bah. Pew, pew. And then my chain jingled. I jumped, shot myself. Bah, bah.
I took the mask off.
I was bleeding. Fuck.
Nah, man.
Saw the mailman. Shot him twice. Bah, bah, bah. Shot that nigga. Bah, bah, bah. Anyway.
Can I say fuck Tim, dog?
It's like, oh, you just said fuck Tim, dog. Well, fuck Tim, dog.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Funny. A lot of reference.
Yeah, right. 72% of us millennials
Yes, sir.
prefer to spend money on experiences than on materialistic bullshit that depreciates in value any damn way.
Shout out to all the sister wives.
So that's why my car sucks. It's because I meant for it to suck.
Exactly.
Because I'd rather spend my money. Like, I mean, some of the best times I have going on crazy wild adventures, traveling the world, and I have stories that will last me a lifetime. And, you know, my car might last me another couple months.
Yeah,
Might could be, might could not. That's the thing. It's a Japanese car, you know, so I probably got a good chunk of time on
Dog,
it left.
it's the experience.
I gotta
You're
get the-
hoping to see where it goes.
I gotta
It's
get that
part
oil
of the
change, though.
journey.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. I got.
Oil change for what?
Yeah, right. I gotta be on top of that maintenance, man.
Bro, Dad
Yeah.
had a Camry. He's like, look, I last time I changed my oil change on my Toyota Camry was like 2004. It's like, Pops, it's 2010, bro.
Yeah.
So what else?
Millennials also win the planet, which is really good because
Okay.
what the Bible say? The meek shall inherit the earth,
Exactly.
and that is right. Because when climate change gets so terrible that only the young and the vital and the fertile can still live in these crazy Mad Max environments, it's gonna be up to us.
Unless you have underground cities.
Senior citizens and old people can't live when the AC breaks. Like what's gonna happen when climate change pops off? Okay, right. So we'll see. It's gonna be ours. The Clinton Global Initiative, and Microsoft found that 66% of us, the logical, believe the Earth is getting warmer.
Okay.
And 75% of us say that human activity is responsible for this because it is,
Right.
as opposed to 37% of our baby our baby boomers. The booners.
That's a Freudian slip. What
Yeah.
you thinking about, bro?
Think about the baboons. Yeah. Yeah, so
This dude's tripping, bro.
well, Walford's over here looking at pictures,
Hey,
scrolling,
man.
distracting me.
My bad, dog.
Yeah.
Follow us on IG,
Yes.
MXE Podcast.
Yes. And so so millennials are much more likely to believe and understand that shooting 82 tons of cosmic dust into the fucking sky will have an effect on the sky. Yeah, and last but not least, one thing that we do fantastically that others do not is millennials win the common sense game. A Gen Forward poll found that 55% of whites, 76% of blacks, 68% of Latinos, and 67% of Asians disapprove of Trump.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I wonder if the DACA ruling might bring that 68 number a little bit higher. And I mean, honestly, even the 76% of blacks. Okay, so you got to understand, like with polling, there's always like 3 to 5% of like people who believe like the earth is flat and shit. So 5%
Shout out
is
to Kyrie.
Yeah. So 5% is just gone off the bat. Like you're
Right.
never gonna get like 100%. So that aside, let's try to do some quick math. God help us. So maybe there are still about 20% of relatively sane black millennials
Right.
who don't disapprove of Trump. If you are,
Yikes.
speak to us.
Yeah.
Get at us. Twitter, Instagram, MXE podcast. We would like to hear why you would believe in that man. We want to know why you're dumb, basically. Explain to us.
Let's not tar it. I'll say we're not dumb. We're just questioning what inspired you to co-sign a fuckboy.
Yeah.
Hello, backwoods hillbilly.
We can talk it out, but you're starting off on like a note with me. How do you not?
I'll do one better.
Okay.
You're gonna. All right. I want you to hit us up right on mxepodcast@gmail. Right. Then we're gonna give you an opportunity to call us and give us your point of view.
That's a good
We're
idea.
gonna share it on the next podcast, and then you get to see if other people agree with you.
That's right.
And if people don't agree with you, you might want to check your mans real quick. It's be like, maybe I made a mistake.
Yo, Kermit the Frog face ass.
Sipping too much tea ass.
Yeah, right. If you haven't watched Paid in Full, you're gonna have to watch Paid in Full to understand at least 30% of this podcast.
This whole podcast is about Paid in Full references. So
Absolutely.
if you don't know, shout out to Rockefeller Records.
And unintentionally, shout out to Paper Soldiers.
Soldiers,
Right.
yeah,
So like
yeah.
unintentionally, Paid in Full is a wonderful movie in terms of the American dream context, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
people, and that's the other important aspect of this. When people don't feel like they have access to the American dream, then they feel like if you're not going to give it to me, then I'm going to take it. There it is. And so you can't take something by force legally by definition, right? So by definition, if you're going to take something, you're going to be willing to take up more unsavory means. Right. You know, I'm not trying to snitch on nobody doing their work, doing their dirt, doing the things they do to get what they do when they do. Do I do what you do? Shout out to Stevie Wonder, ninth wonder of the world. So
I see you, Stevie, shining.
Yeah. Well, no, I was.
Don't go there.
No,
you don't want to lose people.
Yeah,
don't lose them.
Yeah,
this is the first episode, dog. Don't lose them.
Yeah. I love you too much, Stevie, to do it to you. So I won't. But I respect you.
That's what somebody. No, next.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold my tongue.
Yeah. So
I'll be spicy at the extended interview.
Spicy?
Yeah, I'll be more reckless.
Okay.
A little bit more reckless after episodes 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay. So I'd like to wrap this up by saying that I think it's great that you guys were here to join us on this journey. I think that it'll be it's a real productive conversation, and I think this works. Joking aside, I think this whole idea works when we're sharing ideas and we are having these exchanges. So, I invite you to hear us out in our point of view, and I invite you
to share yours.
Right, to disagree with us, and we can talk this out, and there's always middle ground. But I think there is no progress without tension. You got to crack an egg to make an omelet. And so I think that's a part of what we're doing here. Is it's about cracking open eggs. When life gives you eggs, you make eggs Benedict. That's what we're doing. We're making eggs Benedict out here because we're fancy. Okay, we're fancy.
And you're drinking mimosas? Is that what you guys are doing?
Brunch.
Jesus Christ.
And it's Sunday. Oh, you made me miss brunch. Okay.
Fuck your brunch, you liberal. Fucking
goddamn brunch. I'm out here working hard in the streets.
I'm gonna take you to a brunch with bottomless mimosas,
Nigga,
and you're gonna change your mind so fast. Yo, by your third sangria, bro, you're gonna be so lit off of that. Yeah, bro. So
I come from a generation where we don't even put nail polish on our fingers.
I mean, no one's asking you to put nail polish. I'm asking you to drink sangria and mimosas until you're drunk and stumble down the street at like 1:45 in the afternoon on a Sunday and have people look at you crazy.
All right.
That's what I'm asking at you.
Only thing I will do is I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll see.
You're coming. We're gonna have a guys' night out. We're gonna have a guys' day.
Guys' day.
We're gonna get massages and we're gonna go for brunch. And you're gonna be
Shout
better
out
for
to
it.
Club 35, baby. I see you. Guys' night out.
Oh my god.
I got so much trouble.
Shout out to that bologna smell in the air. Smells like sandwich meats and shit in there.
Yo, man.
Shout out to the people who eat in strip clubs, man.
Yo.
Y'all inspire me, man. That's bravery.
Man. Shit.
That's a level of comfort in strip clubs that I might think I'm ready for right now. Like I don't want to feel at home in a strip club.
Hey, Mom, pass the soy sauce.
Yeah, like I want to feel like a visitor. Like I don't want to feel like, oh, you got the usual chair.
Oh yeah, it's for you.
But you'll be having the usual. I don't know. The chicken fingers. Yeah, I don't know. But it's
Yeah, man.
it's been great.
real.
Follow us. We're gonna be on Snapchat.
Yes, sir.
On Instagram,
Facebook.
YouTube.
We're gonna do Facebook Live pretty much soon.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. But let's get out there. Google Play, iTunes. We're gonna be waiting on our approval. But but for next week, definitely look out for us there. We're gonna be all over social media. We're gonna be spamming you.
Yeah.
We will be in touch. This is Dave Williams
And this is Wally Wall Street, you know what I'm saying?
signing off.
Signing off
Be good, be safe, resist.
at all times. And no means no.